Hey guys, and welcome back to Gregtech New Horizons. I've just been doing some building on this base here, trying to get the rest of this roof configured, as well as some of the interior walls, although there is still a lot of blocks to be placed. I have also been doing some testing here with our cetane setup. So last episode we set up our new distillation tower here, some large chemical reactors, and ultimately we are producing cetane-boosted diesel, although this is nowhere near the rate we need to be producing this. In order to fix it though, we do need some more large chemical reactors, which means more HV circuits. We've went through a lot of circuits recently, we only have 8 left. I think the plan for today is also to expand out our farm here, but we'll get to that later on. I've got a lot of materials to craft up for this setup. Basically I want to move some of these chemical reactions into large multi-blocks, just to make the fluids easier to handle. This may be a bit easier to explain once it's done though. May I present version 2 of cetane-boosted diesel. As you can see, there's been a few changes. Our biodiesel setup is now over here in pieces. We'll go over all of that in a second. But first of all, to get this to work, I did actually move the distillation tower that used to sit over here, which used to go through the oil cracking unit for heavy fuel. That is now set up next to our pyrolyze oven, so we're still taking the oil sands into heavy oil, distilling it into 4 different outputs: sulfuric gas, sulfuric naphtha, sulfuric light fuel, and sulfuric heavy fuel. All 4 of those outputs then go into this new chemical reactor here, where it gets mixed with hydrogen, and the hydrogen we're taking from electrolyzing water. The hydrogen goes in this super tank and is inserted into this input hatch, and the oxygen goes into this one here. So yeah, this chemical reactor desulfurizes all of the outputs of the distillation tower. The heavy fuel is buffered in the tank since we get way more heavy fuel than we do the rest of the products out of this. The light fuel is in the one above it, and both of these go into this next chemical reactor, which mixes them into diesel or fuel. The other gases are just buffered here, the naphtha and the refinery gas. We'll probably use these later on. We can burn those for some extra power. These 2 chemical reactors are exactly the same, except now from this chemical reactor we're getting hydrogen sulfide, which we mix with oxygen on circuit 24 here to give us sulfuric acid. We no longer use water for this or the sulfur inputs, we just use the hydrogen sulfide from this chemical reaction. So then this pipeline here takes our fuel, sends it all the way over to this chemical reactor, and this thing takes our tetranitromethane and mixes it with diesel, and this gives us cetane-boosted diesel. You may notice here though that there is 2 routes to get cetane boosted. We can either mix tetranitromethane with fuel, or tetranitromethane with biodiesel, which is the reason why we have it in this large chemical reactor now. We can send the fuel in the top one here, and eventually when we set up biodiesel again, we can have it insert in this input hatch, and it will just use whatever fuel is available and mix with the tetranitromethane, which is pretty much the same setup here, it's just that I moved some of the machines around. Alright, so at this point, it's really all about optimizing this thing. We need to be able to automatically send wheat into this drawer so that it can be sent through these machines, turned into, what is this, biochaff? Yeah, biochaff. Run through the pyrolyze oven and to give us fermented biomass. So we do already have our farm over here producing wheat for us, but we do need some way to transport the wheat over the river and the fertilizer to the farm. And before you suggest ender chests, that's not going to be a thing for quite a while. I think we have to be an IV for those. The way we're going to handle this is with the long distance item pipeline, which is tons and tons of steel and tons of tin. I mean, it's not that bad, we get 32 per. Alright, I think we just place the item pipeline, conveyor on the side. That should work, right? Now we just need to run this massive ugly pipe underneath the river. Okay, I hear the compressors, we are getting close. Okay, we got everything connected. Are you receiving wheat? 1765? I think it is actually. Oh yeah, the wheat drawer emptied. Nice. That was easier than I thought. We do have this ugly golden pipe across the river though, we're gonna have to do something about that. So the other part to keep this going is to feed this farm with fertilizer. We need the forestry fertilizer, which is made with apatite and various different biomaterials. We have a few other options we can do, but we have a drawer full of fertilizer here from the distillation tower. So I guess we'll need one LV mixer. This doesn't have to be particularly fast. Combustion generator, which we have conveniently right here. Then we just plug in our mixer, give this some power with the combustion generator. Hello, skeleton. Then we want a drawer on top for appetite, conveyor to pull the dust into the mixer, and we'll hook up our fluid pipes. Very good, this should be receiving water. Now all that's left is to hook up this fertilizer. And conveyor on this pipe should insert all of this into the mixer. Alright, all we have to do now is give this thing some power. And we have our forestry fertilizer, nice. Okay, that's going to be automatically sent to the drawer. And now we need one more long distance pipe to take this over to the farm. You know what, it's just occurred to me actually, we can get away with just one iron pipe, so long as we use the drawer controller. Those things are needlessly expensive. And these long distance iron pipes take way too long to break. Not as bad as the coils or casings, but still. This is unnecessary, right? Oh, you know what, these are actually only one way. We do need two pipes. Oh no. Alright, so we got the farm hooked up with the fertilizer and the wheat automatically being sent across the river. And this hasn't really been running long enough for us to tell if it's going to be fast enough. I suspect there will still be some bottlenecks we'll have to address. So we're not quite ready to switch our whole base over to running cetane just yet. I've just topped up the oil in this tank so that we can keep producing regular fuel here. So to give time for that system to run, I think that we should look at our next step in progression, which is to visit that thing up there. To get all the way up there though, we do need some more infrastructure and machines, starting with the HV Advanced Circuit Assembling Machine. Right now our cleanroom is only running MV power, and we'll have to use this HV assembling machine to craft our first IV circuits. I believe we actually need 2 of these for the NASA workbench. And to craft the circuit assembler we do need EV circuits. Right now we only have 1 since we built all of those distillation towers. But while I was crafting all the circuits earlier on, I did make these processor assemblies which we can use for the EV circuits. So I guess while we're making them, let's count out and see exactly how many we need so that we don't have to create them before we reach space again. So the NASA workbench takes 2 mainframes, plus these multi-purpose robot arms which take a EV circuit each. You know what, actually it's not that bad. So it's 2 IVs and 3 EVs. And these sensor lenses I guess are a bunch of HVs which we'll have. So yeah, I guess we start with the EVs. We actually need 9 of these in total since we need 2 per mainframe. Blue alloy bolts, processor assemblies, plastic circuit boards, fine electron wire, random access memory, and my access memory is gone. Which one? SMD diodes. We have some here. There we go, we're making our EV circuits, nice. And we're going to actually run out of plastic circuit boards here. And the reason for that is we are out of sodium persulfate. So I placed our miner on a salt vein here a while back. I wonder if that is finished by now. Oh yeah, look at that. It's not all from the one vein, by the way. This has been on a mica and a silver vein. I just haven't emptied it out. And the salt we then need to mix in this chemical reactor with sulfuric acid, which we now have too much of because of that chemical reactor over there. That gives us sodium bisulfate. Electrolyze the sodium bisulfate. We really have to set up a dedicated system for this though. This is getting too much, but I think after the moon we're going to slow things down and we'll automate all of these processes. Although maybe better to wait for 82. I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest. Then the sodium persulfate gets mixed with copper foil and plastic circuit boards, and this gives us the circuit boards we need for 9 EV workstations. And after quite a bit of crafting, I believe we now have the materials for our HV circuit assembling machine and our quest. So yeah, as we mentioned, we do need to get some HV power into this clean room. So what we can do is build another combustion generator at HV tier, disable the clean room temporarily, and this recipe only requires 1 amp, right? Yeah, so we can get away with just doing machine hull again. So yeah, machine hull on here, powered by a combustion generator. Make sure not to point this down. Facing west, yep. And we can just connect this up to our fuel line here. And our circuit assembler can go straight on the machine hull again. So now it should just be as easy as collecting the materials for the circuit, so let's make sure we turn the clean room back on. That's going to take a few minutes to warm up. We'll need some aluminium frames. Not a problem for us anymore, we have so much aluminium to work with. A few more capacitors. Not too many though, we should really upgrade to the next tier of SMDs for these things. So yeah, now for our first mainframes we need the random access memory again, aluminium frame boxes, workstations, coils, capacitors, and annealed copper wire. I remembered this time. And we can still use solder and alloy for this. Oh wait a second, we're only at 30% efficiency. No. Please don't void a workstation. We're not getting this mainframe, I can already tell. Patience, we need some patience. Maybe we get lucky? Oh, we got it! What are the chances? It's only at 38%. Wow, that was lucky. Okay, we're gonna wait for 100 before we make the last one. But unlocking our first IV circuits means that we've unlocked the space race. Look at this for a quest tab. Look how much we've got to do here. This is like 6 months worth of stuff right here. But we take this one step at a time. First is the NASA workbench. So we'll need another assembling machine. Should be manageable, although still very expensive for us at this point. Some hard walls, which is wet concrete and energetic alloy. A display is just some LV circuits. The IV circuits we now have, and we just need multi-purpose robot arms. Everything here we've made before. We have the EV circuits, with the exception of Nether Star plates. And here in New Horizons, there is actually multiple ways to get the Nether Star. I think though the first one we do have to get from fighting the Wither. However, after we have our first one, there is actually a duplication recipe for this. If we take the tiny piles mixed with some magma cream and blaze powder, we can actually create 2 null catalysts, which we can then throw through the assembler with some Salus Mundus and create our Nether Stars. But then the question becomes, well, how do we get Salus Mundus? I think it's time for some magic. We do of course have to get our first Wither though, which means farming some Wither skeletons, and I think the best tool for that job is the cleaver, of course, from Tinker's Construct. And I think we will do vanadium steel again for our tools, at least for the blade. This is what, 768 seconds? Really? That's 12.5 minutes. That's insane. Okay, let's get the rest of the parts for this. Little bit of patience. We have 2 Damascus steel tool rods, obsidian large plate, and vanadium steel blade. Repair the crossbow just for any blazes. Some instant health. I guess we'll take these as well. Alright, we are back in the Nether. This is a fairly large fortress. And I think there's a second one right over here actually. So I'm going to switch between them, see how many withers we can get. Oh, it's a vengeance blaze. Look at this thing. Yep, I'm just going to not touch that thing. It's got gravity on it as well. Is that a third fortress? Do we have 3 right next to each other? Wow, that's lucky. There you are. No skull though. Aha, there's 1 of 3. Wait, I think this is a 4th fortress. Yeah, look at this. 1 here, 1 over there, 1 here, and 1 back at our portal at spawn over there. There are way too few mobs here though. I don't understand. Where is everyone? Okay then. Well, I wasn't expecting that, and we are so far away from the portal. That's really bad. Well, we do at least have a spare hang glider here that we can use. We've lost night vision, and it's 450 blocks that way. Let's just make a run for it before the mobs get a chance to spawn. This must be the ninja skeleton that got us. I don't think so. Alright, we're back. And we've got 1 more skull to get. Apparently we picked up a second one. Oh, we got the 3rd one. Nice. Alright, let's get out of this place. I almost died again there. 1 more though, 1 more. Okay, now let's leave. Actually, you know what? We're going to fight the Wither here in the Nether. I don't know if we can do sideways Wither like this in 1.7. I have a feeling we can't though. No, okay. We have to spawn them the correct way up. Which means that we cannot really cheese the fight. I do have some potions here. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to go. But that's what backups are for. Let's do this. Oh, we do so much damage to this guy. Look at this. He's not even hit us yet. Wow, that was the easiest Wither of my life. Nice. We got our Nether Star. We got the Division Sigil. And we got some Pride Shards. I have no idea what these are used for. Alright, well that could have went worse, I suppose. But of course we do need more than 1. And we could just technically farm the Wither Skeletons. But I don't think chancing our luck like that is going to end very well. So we're going to do the Thaumcraft route instead. Plus there's some other things in Thaumcraft we'd like to get. Okay, so first up in the Thaumcraft quests, we have to collect our first wand. This is something we should have done a while ago, to be honest. We need some aluminium screws, some iron caps. That's just a bunch of iron components, and impregnated sticks is just some seed oil. That's very, very easy. And we need Naga scales for this. Well, it looks like we've got another boss fight in our hands then. Okay, 3 hit. And we got our 6 Naga scales. That took like, what, 10 seconds? I think crafting the iron caps is going to take longer. Alright, 2 iron caps, 4 iron screws, or naga scales, and we need the impregnated stick. I remember putting some seed oil in here. Yes, we do. Nice. I'm so glad I kept that. And we can make our first Thaumcraft wand. Better late than never, eh? Alright, so where's going to be the quest for the balance shards? I don't actually know how far we need to dive into Thaumcraft for this. This may not even be something we get today, but... Okay, it looks like the balance shards are this one here. We need thaumium as well. And we also need these other shards over here. Let's start with the thaumium though, since that is going to take the crucible. So to get our cauldron to work, we need a source of water, which we have here. Eventually we'll replace that again. But just in case we mess up here, if you're not aware of Thaumcraft, it can basically turn your whole base purple. And we definitely don't want that, so I think we're going to go across the pond here. At least until we have a dedicated area for Thaumcraft. Something like this should work, right? If we hit it with the wand. We have a crucible. Not for soup. That is a recipe for disaster. Okay, so we want thaumium, which of course we have to research. I forget about the research game. That's right, of course we need to make our Thaumanomicon. And I think it's with the bookshelf. Oh yeah, that was easy. We have the Thaumanomicon. This looks very different from Thaumcraft 6 though. And there's also a bunch of custom tabs in here as well. Yeah, specific to GTNH. Okay, next on the list is the thermometer. And we do need some of these shards, some of which we should have. Apparently we do not have any of those shards. So we're going to have to move our miner into a Twilight Forest vein. It's currently here on a beryllium and thorium vein, or a little project we'll be working on in the next few episodes. So yeah, I went back to the Twilight Forest, dropped the miner on one of the shard veins, and there are multiple different variants of these shard veins, one of which I used the miner for, and the rest are just done manually. Alright, so once I got back to the base, I processed all of the ore through the large sifting machine. I also checked on the cetane setup, and it seemed that we were overflowing on hydrogen. So I crafted up the overflow valve, which allows you to avoid excess. I'm really not sure what to do about all of this hydrogen, to be honest. We have 2 super tanks full of it, but really we just need the oxygen. So in fact, I did also add the second electrolyzer here, which takes the CO2 gas. This is one of the outputs of the Fermented Biomass distillation tower. And this thing will electrolyze 1 to 2 into oxygen gas. It also gives us carbon, which we just have in this little hidden drawer down here. But yeah, after monitoring this a bit more, I think we have to increase our production of wheat, but that is a project for another day. Anyways, back to Thaumcraft, and we can craft our thermometer. See the unseen. Scan everything. To understand this, you need to study energy. Okay, so even to scan things we have to... Yeah, even to scan things we have to research. I think we're gonna have to get ourselves a table and some scribing tools. 2 tables, in fact. And for that we need feathers. I wonder where all the chickens here went. Now I wish I'd kept them around. I wonder if we have 1 feather. Oh, these chickens. Yeah, you know what? Chicken, you're coming with me. You can live with the pigs now. Just don't give me too many eggs. And we will need a partner for him though. Here you are. Yoink. Okay, what else do we need for these scribing tools? A glass file. So now we need our table and our scribing tools, and this turns it into the research table. Now what? This is going to take me a bit to figure out. Hold on. So it seems like in order to proceed, we have to scan everything. We got a new research, nice. And not everything is unlocked yet. We can't scan everything until we research the ability to scan things, so yeah. The quest book does mention a list of things that we have to scan here, but this is so many random items here. It's going to take me a little while to scan all of this. Hey, one of the items on the list is even one of the chickens here. Alright, it's been like an hour. I've scanned everything in the base here. I have to actually stop. I'm getting carried away with this, to be honest. Oh, I missed this chest, actually. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. But I did manage to get our first research note here. So I'm still not exactly clued in on how this works, but you basically have to match up all the research together. So you somehow have to get from Precantatio to Motus, and then Motus to... What is this? Is that Ordo? No, Permutatio is here. Once you get that, you get the discovery. Unlike in TC6, where you can just automatically get the discovery whenever you scan things. But here I think we just use this. Yeah, and we get research expertise, which completes the research in the Thaumanomicon. So that is basically what you have to do for each of the different research things here. And it looks like now we've unlocked the ability to research thaumium. So we do have to complete this research note, which is just precantatio to metallum. Let's see, does this work? Oh yeah, nice. So now the recipe for thaumium ingot should show up in JEI here, whereas previously we didn't have access to this. So we need 4 precantatio and an iron ingot, and the quest wants us to make 16. I wonder what the best form of precantatio is. You see that down there, guys? That is a failed recipe. So I decided to mess about with this cauldron a little bit. Yeah, we got some more spillage. It seems that the ratios were a little off, so we've got some flux. And I did also pick up a small amount of warp from Research Mastery. That probably wasn't worth taking, to be honest. But yeah, it's not looking like we're going to get the balance shards today. I don't think we're that far off, to be fair. I just have to read up on the exact recipe for these things. We did, however, get our first 2 IV circuits, along with some more EVs and HVs. We also rebuilt our cetane setup, which still, again, needs some refining. But I think right here we're going to wrap up the episode. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all soon for some more Gregtech New Horizons.